talk to me about the balance of being a content creator to help other people versus spending time creating your own content, which continues to make you an expert. What would you say is your time breakdown that of spending and I guess we could approach it from a an aspect of percentages. What percentage of
Yeah.
your time do you spend writing and being a creative for your personal projects versus being selfless and teaching others?
Yeah. It's definitely a 50-50 split right now.
Okay.
I I love both of the processes equally. So that's why I will do that. Unfortunately, when you stockpile a bunch of books, that means that you have to sacrifice other things like doing interviews or virtual summits or, doing coaching. For instance, I have a long list of people that are wanting me to coach them, and I'm like, that's not going to happen because my priority right now is getting out those 8 books. So it's a 50-50 split, but every now and then I have to understand, like, what are my goals? What's the direction I'm going, and what is the highest priority to me? So like right now, my highest priority is getting this 8 book series out, and I'll be launching one a month for the next, well, 8 months technically, but it's 7 months since I've already got one book out. So it's going to be that big focus. And as soon as that gets done, I'm sure I'll already have other goals set in place. For instance, right now, tentatively, I'm going to be tacking on another 4 books at the end of this to round out to a full dozen in the series. And I
Yeah,
feel like at that point, I can step away from that aspect of writing and
for
I can
sure.
finally pivot into fiction writing
Mhm.
because I love fiction. I've always dreamed about being a fiction writer, and I was able to dabble with it in 2022. I got hooked on it, but I also understood, like, I still have to pay bills. And if
Yeah,
you are pivoting to something completely different, you have to understand that you're starting, ground zero, square one. It's
yeah.
all from, and a lot of people, it's so funny. People will see my YouTube videos and go, "Oh, he's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers across 2 channels. He must be selling a lot of fiction books." No, no, not at all. Actually, I had a whole Vela series. There is such a small fraction of overlap when it comes to things like this. Like, my viewers want to be educated in self-publishing. They don't want to be entertained in my horror stuff. Like, I even had someone call my stuff gore porn at some point or another. I was like,
Or porn.
yeah, I'm like, it's not that bad, but I was like, I know what you mean though. But either way, though, it's just knowing those priorities and really anchoring them down. I'm a very much goal-oriented person, and it really helps that there's 2 systems that I use here, Alex. First of all, is my phone. I
Mhm.
have a digital list that I have that's integrated with my calendar, and it breaks down into daily tasks that I need to do. And those tasks are typically microbytes of a larger goal of some sort. So, for instance, right now I'm in the midst of editing book 6 of the book 8 series, so you can get back over to my editor. So that's going to be on a daily list. Whereas there's going to be smaller micro actions, like, for instance, I might have outreach times 3, and that typically means that I got to go out of my way, spend at least a half hour to 45 minutes, no more than that, in doing some outreach, reaching out to podcasters, websites, in-person appearances, finding some way to do that. So I do it on my iPhone. And I also, here's the funny thing is, I have ADHD, so I need to have a couple of processes in place because I found sometimes that I was procrastinating with this. So I go, oh, I didn't get to this task today. I'm just going to bump it to tomorrow. I write that stuff down. Look at
But
this
you're just
mess.
like me. You're just like me. I do the same thing. Phone and notebook. And Asana. Asana.
I've yet to use Asana, although I'm hearing so much, not to be confused with Asana, but Asana is another tool I've had some people like mention. But yeah, when I write it down, I do it every night before I go to bed. I shut off the lights to my office and everything else, and I'm stepping out of the office. I open up my to-do list here, and then I write it down in a priority schedule for me. And I make sure that when I'm done with that, I cross it out, and I also go back over into my phone and tap that off. It is such a great dopamine drip for you, when you finish those things, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, there we go. And there's parts of me where I'm like, I get a particularly large task done, and I'm like, I'm going to take the rest of the day off. And then I look at that list and I'm like, I can't take the rest of the day off. I got to keep
Yeah.
pushing through.